This video demonstrates how to quick start with OSM-Edge. OSM-Edge is a lightweight, extensible, and purposely built SMI-compatible service mesh for Edge and cloud. OSM-Edge is built on top of Open Service Mesh version 1.1.0 codebase and uses lightweight programmable proxy Pipy as its data plane and sidecar proxy. For more details on why we started this fork, features, architectural changes, and other step-by-step tutorials and guides, please refer to OSM-Edge website. To quick start, navigate to the Quick Start section on the left panel. This section provides step-by-step instructions on how to quickly set up OSM-Edge and deploy a simple set demo application. We'll be following the instruction listed here and start with the fresh Linux box. If you already have a working Kubernetes cluster, then you can skip the prerequisite part where we'll be installing the K3s. I'll be using a fresh Linux VM created on cloud, and we'll start setting up a single node Kubernetes cluster while K3s. So let's jump into the console. So I'll be following the steps here. First, copy this one. And let's install. This might take some time, depending on the speed of the network. Okay, it's done, so we can verify if we already have it working. Right, good. Right, so we can see actually we already have a working cluster. So now the next part is we need to download and install the OSM-Edge CLI. So again, we'll be following the steps listed here, just to see which system or architecture we're running on. So we'll be downloading a CLI based on the system architecture and release version. Currently we are in the 1.1.0 release. Okay, so we already have it, and then we'll just copy this OSM to our local folder. Instead of this one, I will better do copy to my local setup. So what I will do, let's do here. Okay, which OSM? Here we have. We can verify if it's working fine. Version client only. Okay, so we already have this version now, OSM installed. The next step is we need to install the service mesh. So OSM actually requires a namespace and the mesh name. So we'll be just setting to using the default name. For example, our OSM namespace will be OSM system, and mesh name would be OSM. Okay, now comes the fun part. So we need to install that one, OSM install, mesh name, and this one I'll be explaining while we're doing the installation. So the mesh name is what we call OSM, and OSM namespace, it will install that under the OSM system namespace. And there are the few other options over there. The first one is enable permissive traffic policy. then we want to set it to true. So that will actually, there won't be any policy enforcement on the traffic flowing through the mesh. So we just want to start with this one. So in that way, once we have this our application up and running, so there won't be any kind of policy enforcement, so they can communicate with each other. And later in the demo part, we will demonstrate how to make it false, so that actually the traffic rules are enforced. And then we will use the SMI policies to allow the specific applications to access the specific parts. So that one. Okay, we can have another this one. And then if you already have this Prometheus and Grafana Jaeger running in your cluster, then you can follow the BYOD. Please refer to the guides here. But if you are starting fresh, just like me, on a single node cluster, or some your demo clusters over there, so we can have this Prometheus, Grafana, and Jaeger enabled. So let's do that one as well. Okay, so it might take some time because it needs to download all the images of the OSM-Edge, and then it will also download the Prometheus, Grafana, Jaeger images and start them. Currently, there is no kind of information to see what is happening with it, but installation is happening in the backend. So if you want to see a more detailed or the purpose information, you can enable the purpose flag. Okay, so we are done with that one. As you can see, OSM installed successfully. So we can verify that one. We just do OSM version. So here we can see actually the CLI version is 1.1.0, which we actually downloaded. And here we can see the mesh information is displayed. The mesh name is OSM, which we set up by our, and is running under the OSM system namespace. The version is that one, and the build date is this one. Okay, so we are done with that one. Now the fun part, we need to deploy the demo application. So this is actually a demo application that comes default with OSM, Open Service Mesh, and it's a book buyer application. So there are 5 different parts: the book buyer, book thief, bookstore, book warehouse, and MySQL. And so these applications, we are going to actually install all these parts in a specific namespace. So we can create the namespace here separately. Let me clear the screen. Okay, it's done. And the next part is OSM. We need to actually have the OSM or the service mesh actually manage these namespaces. So we are telling the OSM to manage these namespaces. The manage actually happening is that whenever a new pod is created in these namespaces, the OSM, the service mesh, is going to inject a Pipy sidecar inside each pod. So that was the reason we manually created the namespaces and we let them managed by OSM. And now we are going to create, all the individual pods. Okay. Okay, we can verify. It might take some time. So we can see it's still running. Almost there. So you can see actually each pod actually bookstore. So there's 2 of 2. So we can validate while it's running. Just for example, let's do a describe of that one. So we can see the first container is the sidecar, and the second is the book buyer itself. Okay, so we have everything up and running. So for the local machine demo, local demonstration purposes, you can clone the OSM-Edge Git repository, and it comes with a script. So where you can actually port forward all of your the ports running these demo applications. But for the quick demonstration, we won't be doing that, and we can quickly do a curl or the logs of that one. So what we can do is just to see if it's working. Buyer. Sorry. All right, so as you can see, the books box are running, and similarly we can verify with the thief that one. Okay, so it's also doing that one running. So as you can see, actually our applications, the demo applications that run book buyer is actually a client making to the bookstore, and the traffic is permitted because we have our permissive traffic enabled. And the book thief is also another application actually that also try to steal the books from the bookstore. So that's why we can see. But our demo later will set up the policy and rules so that only the book buyer is able to access to the book warehouse, and the book thief shouldn't be. But currently now we can see the book thief is also actually trying to steal the information. Is running in parallel with the book buyer. So that's one. Now we have this application running on that part. So for the access control part, just follow that one. Before we need to do the we're talking about the permissive traffic policy mode. So we can apply this rule so that the permissive traffic mode is set to false. Let's do it quickly. Okay, patched. Give it a time, and let's try to see if it's still working. So you can see this book thief is no longer able to access the books. Let's see if our book buyer is able to do that one. Nope. So it's also being declined the access to the services, the bookstore there. So that in that way, actually, as you said, because now only the pods which have been configured with the policy will be allowed to communicate with each other, because we have actually make a strict enforcement of the here by enabling the permissive traffic mode to false. So to execute or to give the book buyer privileges to bookstore, we can apply the traffic access rules. Let's store it here. Just copy that part. Apply it. Okay, so now see the book, if book buyer is able to handle. Yes, so you can see book buyer is able to access the rules. Book counts is increasing continuously. And let's try to see that if book thief is able to do the same, if book thief can access. No. So you can see, because in our traffic policy, actually we only allow the book buyer to access to the bookstore, and the book thief access is being declined. For the metrics part, so by default the metrics are disabled. So you need to actually enable them so that all the metrics generated by the pods captured there. We already have installed the Prometheus and Grafana, so let's just enable them here as well. Okay, it might take some time. So for the demonstration purposes, actually you can also follow the guides here, where you can port forward to localhost, because I'm running this VM is running on the cloud, so I won't be doing that one, but I already actually set up a kind of another box where I have set up the ingress rules, and I can access that one. So the Grafana is accessed here. So we can see the metrics. Okay, so the Grafana is working and things are working. So for the dashboards, OSM-Edge comes with control plane and the data plane. So you can play on it your own. That was a quick demo, and if you want to, you're done with your exploration part, and you can just do an uninstallation of these demo applications by just deleting the namespace, and you do OSM uninstall mesh. That's all from my side. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.